Welcome to the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. I'm Kim McLaughlin, and I am your host. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, coach, speaker, and best-selling author. Today's podcast is about holiday survival skills. We're deep in the holiday season now, and we can tend to feel out of balance. There might be too many commitments, expectations, and feeling compelled to hang out with people that you just don't necessarily want to be with. On top of all that, there's pressure to cook, clean, shop, and spend a lot of money. Let's slow down and develop a holiday success plan. We're going to talk about top strategies to make this holiday work for you, practical survival skills that will help you thrive, and learn my technique of having a holiday bucket list, which will help you survive anything. Let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about holiday survival skills, and they're in demand as people navigate their busy schedule, and it's a stressful time. And I just want to put that out there, whether you feel overly busy or not. There's a lot of stressors that come on us and come at us. And I just want to start acknowledging that. And I have some ideas about what we can look at in terms of what is maybe showing up for you over this holiday season and what might be holiday stressors that are showing up for you. So we have 5 different ideas about what you can look for in the holidays to really have a different change in your mindset and in your outpicturing of what happens. The first thing I thought of when I thought about the idea of holiday stress, and that is, how do we manage our physical body? Here, we talk about intuitive eating, we talk about getting in touch with your body, but there is a component in the holidays that is really related to food and your physical body, as well as entering into the darker times, the colder times. So the first thing I want to consider when we're talking about our physical body is what type of physical activity do you need to use? Do you need to get in activity, get in front of doing something? I find that this time of year, when it's darker earlier, it's colder, it's rainy where I live, it becomes harder to get out and be more active. We're also challenged in the summertime where I live, where it's overly hot. So now we're getting into the colder times. So I have to really reimagine what I do. Yesterday, my husband and I took a hike, and we took a hike in the afternoon at the end of the day, whereas we've been doing it over the summer in the morning time. So we had to really change our schedule to accommodate, or we can change our schedule to accommodate the weather. So really, what are you going to do to be active? And also, what are you doing to eat in a way that nourishes your body? I don't like the idea of healthy food or healthy meals. I think of it as, what is my right food? What is my right meal? And how do I keep my energy up, because food gives me energy to do the things that I need to do. So what do I do? How do I eat in a way that really nourishes my body? I know during this time of stress that we're called to, or might feel like we need to overeat. And we're going to talk about that in the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast in other ways. But this is a time to start looking at, how do I eat in a way that nourishes my body, and even notice and recognize, how do I do that around being with a lot of holiday goodies? The last thing I think of when the strategies for how to be with our body is, how are you going to get enough sleep? There can be a lot of things going on, a lot of ways that you're pulled. You might not be sleeping in the same place, but really make a plan for, what is my way that I'm going to get more sleep, and to make sure that I'm on the front end of thinking about that. So those are some things to do about your body. Next, we want to think about our emotional wellness. And this is the time where we want to look at the feelings that come up: loneliness, grief, family conflicts, um, anger, sadness, lots of things that can really take a hold of us and can make it hard for us to maintain our balance over the holidays. So, really, then looking at what feelings am I feeling and then what can I do with that? Like I was thinking of techniques like setting boundaries, practicing gratitude. And if things are really hard for you at the home, seek mental health therapy. Seek out a licensed mental health professional who can help you with those feelings that are coming up because they can sometimes be too hard to deal with for and by yourself, right? So look at different things you can do to increase your emotional wellness. Another thing I think of for this holiday stress time is literal stress management. What are your key tools to de-stress over this time of year? And these are some things that I don't normally talk about. And one of them is your schedule. What is your schedule like? I have the term here, declutter your schedule. Like, where do I need to focus? Where do I need to spend my time? Where is it the right place for me to put my time? Because we can be pulled in a lot of directions that don't always end up filling ourselves up. So, this is the time to look at what in my schedule needs to go. What in my schedule do I keep, and what in my schedule do I need to go? Also, prioritizing your self care. What is it you need to do for you? And that is extremely critical. We've talked about this a lot about what you need to do for yourself that literally would bring you peace. I like the questions, what would bring me peace today? What would bring me joy today? And do that. You have a lot of skills at your in your toolbox, right? And so use some of those to pull upon to practice your self care. I'm going to talk a little bit later about what I call my holiday bucket list, because I think that might help with this stress management in a little different kind of way. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. If this episode touched something in you and you're ready for more support, I would love to help. Visit feedyoursoultherapy.com to schedule a free consultation. You don't have to do this alone. Help and healing are possible. Another thing to de-stress over the holiday season is managing the family and social dynamics, like managing what goes on outside of you. What is the conversation like? What are people talking about? And I know that there's a lot of things going on that sometimes the conversations can be really rough. And the first thing I think about with a rough conversation is, what is a boundary? What kind of boundaries do I need to set? Where do I need to say no? Where do I need to walk away? Where do I need to not go to a certain place because I need to have boundaries? And so the second thing that I think of is preparing in advance what you would say in those challenging conversations. What is it you might say to somebody? You know, kind of what they generally say. So, what could you say? I don't like things that are snarky or sarcastic. I like having a real, appropriate, powerful, empowering kind of conversation. And so I think about those kind of things when I think about what can I say to somebody that I can have prepared to kind of help them back off. Like intrusive questions can be things like, are you on a diet? How'd you lose weight? Why'd you gain weight? You look bigger. What are you going to say to those things? And generally I like to, just lean into, this isn't something I want to discuss with you. And that can just be a real way to go, no, I don't want to talk about this with you, and walk away or change the subject. That's another way of getting out of these really crazy conversations that just don't sound good. It's like, let's talk about something else. And I will generally have a couple of pivot kind of statements I might make, bringing up a football team or bringing up a local high school that where they're doing really well in the football games right now in my area. There's some really good football going on. So what is it that you can do to navigate through those conversations while you set boundaries? The other thing I think about with people that you spend time with, those family and social dynamics, is literally who do you want to spend time with? Who are your right people to spend time with? And are you spending time with them? Are you doing things because of obligation? Are you doing it because you think you're supposed to? And I want to encourage you to really look at, who do I really want to spend time with? Who are my people? And I get the idea, or I get the fact that you might feel beholden to talk to a certain family member or friend or long lost relative. And how much time might you spend with them? How might you engage them in a way that fits for you so that you feel successful in the conversation and don't feel angry up or upset or anxious about it, but really thinking about who you want to spend time with. And if it's somebody that you don't, do you really have to spend time with them? If you think, well, for the good of everybody, I'm going to spend time with them, then how will you be in that conversation, or how will you be with them? It could be, there's sometimes where I'm in an area with people and I just stay away from them. I just make conversations with other people. I choose to be on the other side of the room and just not really engage with them. And that's been some ways that I've managed to be okay around people that I just don't really want to be around with as much. So those are some ideas. I know that we're really floating on the surface of this. I want to just start with the idea of what we can do. Lastly, what I think of is to really make your holiday bucket list. What are the things that this holiday that you really want to do? This is something that I think about every year. I do a summer bucket list around what to do over the summer, and I also like to do a holiday bucket list. What kind of activities would I like to do? What kind of activities would my family like to do? What kind of foods would they like? What kind of foods would I like? Where would we like to go? Are there certain recipes that we'd like to make? Are there arts and crafts we'd like to do? Decorations we'd like to do? It's really the time for me to think about what would give me joy, and also where, what does this season mean to me and what do I need to do with that? And I know for some people it's a very religious time of year and they have church events they go to and certain activities that they go to. And yes, do that. And there are other people that don't have that, but they have other kind of traditions that really fit with them. I think of it like, what are my spiritual needs? Because as we go into this winter time, in this stressful time, in this holiday time, what is it I really need? What is it I'm being drawn to? And let me do more of that. Let me really lean into, what do I want to do over this holiday season? As you guys know, I like to say, make a list and put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar, because if you don't, if you want to go to the Nutcracker, well, you're going to have to get tickets. Put it on the calendar. If you want to go see the Christmas tree lighting down in the city square, you're going to have to look for when it's going to be and do that. If you want to get together with certain people, you want to do that. I know a book club I'm in, we want to go to a certain restaurant, so we have to schedule it way in advance because it gets booked up, because it's really a very festive place to go over the holidays. With all that being said, what I think it comes down to is, what do you need for you to take care of yourself over this holiday season? What do you need to embrace? And what do you need to let go of? And I think those are for me, the big takeaways about what we're talking about today. So I really encourage you to look at what you need to do and make your holiday bucket list of the things that you really want to engage in, and your let go. What is the things you really want to let go of? Thank you guys for being here. This was really a really good talk, and I really appreciate you all listening. I look forward to talking with you later. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us on the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. We love bringing you fresh content to help you feed your soul. We would appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave a comment about our podcast so others can find us. This podcast is not a replacement for mental health counseling. If you are suffering, seek out a qualified mental health provider. You are worth it.